Protests broke out in several parts of Bangladesh, including Dhaka and Chattogram, following the death of July uprising organizer Sharif Osman bin Hadi in Singapore. Hadi, the convener of Inqilab Moncho, had been shot in the head in Dhaka on 12th December. The premises of a renowned Bengali cultural organization called Chayanot were vandalized and partially set on fire. A mob attacked the office of Bangladesh's Bangla daily Pratham Alo in Dhaka. The attack took place around midnight local time at the newspaper's Karwan Bazaar office. Employees confirmed that multiple floors of the building were ransacked and documents, books, furniture and computers set ablaze. A protest erupted outside the Indian Assistant High Commissioner's residence in Chattogram, raising serious concerns over security of diplomatic premises. The incident took place in the early hours of 19th December when an enraged crowd gathered outside the residence, creating panic in the area. As the situation escalated, law enforcement agencies fired tear gas shells to disperse protesters. And India has launched a strong protest against what it called the deteriorating security situation around its mission in Dhaka. On Wednesday, India's Foreign Ministry had summoned the Bangladeshi envoy to convey its concerns about the actions of some extremist elements in that country. And joining us is Dr. Zakir Hussain, formerly with the Indian Council of World Affairs. Dr. Hussain, welcome to DD India News Hub. Now, what can you tell us about Inqilab Moncho and its slain leader, Sharif Osman Hadi?
Apparently, it looks that some miscreants have used this opportunity, but in totality, they are using it as anti-India, as a convenient political tool to gain prominence in Bangladesh society and get some votes in the forthcoming election on 12th February 2026. So I don't think that simply one factor is mobilizing the people to this extent and this level. Perhaps multiple factors are there. Goons are sitting and exploiting the situations, and particularly the student wing, which has formed its political party, it wants to come into power, and that is mobilizing the youth to vandalize their own country. And India has becoming a very convenient one to raise this this sentiment in the country. While we can also not ignore the hands of foreign forces which are also trying to distance Bangladesh from India, and we all know that how Bangladesh grew when it was in partnership with India since 2009 to 2024.
Right.
Bangladesh has grown at a rate of 6%, and it has grown especially in export sector, garments and various others, and it has reduced its unemployment, raised its per capita income up to $2,800, which is one of the highest in South Asia, and it has improved its image in the world, while the backing of India has played a key role to stabilize, to give a stable government of Sheikh Hasina. However, we also find that Sheikh Hasina in the last term has become non-democratic, and what I feel that India should clarify its stand that India supports democracy, not authoritarianism. So all these things are very important to carry forward. And regarding Sheikh Hasina, what I feel that it's a tightrope walking, that our national interest says that we should do the legal things, while our sentiments, while our long association prevents us to take those measures. So Bangladesh should be, the immediate issue should be managed with long-term vision. It should not drift in the hand of China. What I feel that the role of China has economically grown very fast after the exit of Sheikh Hasina. So we have to be balanced, and we have to be...
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You've covered a lot of ground there, Dr. Hussain. Do stay on. I'm joined now by my colleague Naval Singh Parmar on the phone line from Dhaka. Naval Singh Parmar, how's the situation now in Dhaka and elsewhere in the country?
Well, situation is very critical since yesterday night, and throughout the night there were many incidents reported in Dhaka and other parts of the Bangladesh. There was arson and the gherao and mob handling of the media person and media housing, and that same thing are being continued in since today morning also. So there are a demonstration, protest, and gherao, or we can say the mob handling of the media offices in countryside also. Now I receive reports that from in Sylhet and Kustia also, Pratham Alo and other media organizations office are being vandalized. So things is not in control, and police force is totally failed to maintain law and order situation. At the same time, army is deployed since the ouster of Sheikh Hasina, but army is not taking much interest. As and when the situation goes out of control, then only they reach there to do some not they are not doing any preventive measures, but they are doing some curative measures. And army's role is also a suspicious here now. Otherwise, with the presence of army on the street of Dhaka, it is not possible for the mobs and the fanatical elements to vandalize the media offices. So army's role is also comes under the suspicions, and the diplomatic community and diplomatic missions in Dhaka as well as the other part of the city, people are very scared, and there is a scary situation, as well as there is a risk to the particularly the Indian community here in Bangladesh.
Since you refer to the diplomatic missions in Dhaka, what steps is Bangladesh taking or has taken in the recent past to protect Indian diplomatic missions, in particular in Dhaka and elsewhere in Bangladesh?
Well, in Dhaka, the Indian diplomatic mission is a part of a broader diplomatic enclave, and there is a diplomatic police force deployment continuously. But before 3 days, there were some incidents of march to Indian High Commission, and after that, USA also issued a security alert for its citizen, and then after security brief up in tightened in diplomatic zone in general, and particularly in front of Indian missions, and the Indian and American missions are side by side. So in that area, security has tightened up. But our assistant high commissions in Sylhet, in Chittagong, Rajshahi, and Khulna, there are reports that today also there were some gherao kind of thing in our missions, and some of the newspaper are mentioning that some munch leader, like student leader or fanatical organization leader, are giving threats in public that we will march to the Sylhet and we will do gherao or vandalization to the Indian Assistant High Commission. So this kind of public statement are being made by the student leader who were the part of the government, or they are supported by the interim government. So our Assistant High Commission in the countryside like Sylhet, Khulna, Chittagong, and Rajshahi, there is a security concerns. And yesterday there was a stone plating on the house of Assistant High Commission residence in Chittagong, and there were a huge crowd there. After that, Chittagong Police Commissioner went personally there, and they beefed up the security. And since today morning, there is a extra deployment of the army and the security forces. They are taking measures to protect the diplomatic assets and diplomatic community and residents. But the people and police are not making any arrangement to stop people to reach there. They are protecting the buildings, they are protecting the area. But in the roadside or on the street, people are freely roaming, and there is no any fear of police or army. And that is the giving a free hand to the fanatical elements, and they are supporting the interim government, and interim government supporting this kind of radical element. So both are having their like my earlier speaker mentioned that some of the mistakes have been made by the Madam Sheikh Hasina also, because her 15-year tenure, during that time, radicalization in Bangladesh increased a lot due to internet and some measures which she could have took to prevent this kind of radicalization. But in fact, to get some vote bank politics and to get support from the radical element, she also promoted this kind of policy, this kind of, we can say, thinking in the Bangladeshi youth.
So as my colleague Naval Singh Parmar is reporting from Dhaka, the situation is indeed disturbing, troubling and concerning for India, especially given that its diplomatic missions have been targeted by vandals and protesters in the last couple of days in Dhaka and elsewhere in Bangladesh as well. Naval Singh Parmar, thank you for joining us and sharing your inputs with us on this broadcast. Returning to a guest who is with us on this broadcast, Dr. Hussain. Dr. Hussain, now don't you think that inflammatory anti-India statements from Bangladeshi leaders have become all too common? For instance, a National Citizen Party leader threatened that Dhaka would shelter forces hostile to New Delhi and cut off India's northeastern states from the rest of India. It appears that radical elements have been given a free hand. What does that tell you about the Yunus-led interim government in particular?
Basically, when this happens, it means that government is not in control of the situation. It is nearly collapsed. So what is happening that first of all, Yunus is an aged person. He may not be doing the real task. Someone else behind is doing all these things. Second, that the National City Party launched by the students, they are showing their eagerness, their readiness to come to power. So that's why they are raising the anti-India slogan, and I am afraid that this movement is likely to continue till election is over. And this is the government, now the duty of the government is to control this element. And our government should also take a measured approach to manage the situation. And if we are going to become very vocal like that, it will help them to carry out their agenda. If these people, youngsters, are coming to power, and we all know they are in the hands of Pakistan, China, and to most extent to America and European countries, we have seen that how Yunus was introducing the leaders of these new parties to the Western Bill Clinton and others. So we cannot say that only two neighbors are doing all these things, but all the forces which are against India's rising profile, they are trying to manage, they are trying to control the small, poor neighboring countries. So India, what I feel that it has to manage the situation on the one hand. On the other hand, it has to persuade the intellectuals of Bangladesh to manage the situation, to convince the students that they should go back to campus, let the fair politics and fair election take place. Otherwise, there will be no difference between Yunus-led government and election and its result than Sheikh Hasina. So the situation is very critical.
Very quickly, if I may, Dr. Hussain, do you think the 12th February election will take place as planned?
Right now, it does not seem to me, but they will try to show to the world that election is there.
Right.
Because Yunus has to legitimize his stay in power. Otherwise, and I don't see why, I don't know why army is so silent. Because ultimately, this situation is heading towards that army should take over the control of the country, because all the political and social and media and all this have failed to manage the situation on the ground.
Right. Right, we'll leave it there for now. Dr. Hussain, thank you for joining us and sharing your perspectives with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time.